Oh man, this is gonna be so good. I actually don't know what I should do for Eiger. Eiger and Dietrich are the two that I kind of overlap with my class. So it's like, it's unclear their role because they kind of do similar things to me. It's going to be kind of weird to try and balance that out, I think. And you know what? I'm glad I'm doing it because it presents much more of a challenge than if I was running with my Elven Mage that I did in one of my previous runs of Shadowrun Returns. Because she doesn't fit anywhere, or she fits really nicely into the group because she does the role no one else does. Dwarvish tech vendor smiles at you with practiced ease, her almond eyes twinkling with the glare from a dozen Trid screens. She speaks in a clipped, heavily accented German. Welcome to the Data Haven. Can I help you with something? This game is almost like Marvel Hero. Close. It's really like... modern world suddenly finds all the fantasy races, creatures, and abilities of old. Like, the whole idea behind this area is, oh, Marvel Hero and Steam. Oh, okay, I haven't seen that then. What am I looking for again? Yeah, DVD. Really? That is old tech. Very old, in fact. Just a moment, I will go look. She turns to rummage through a bin of obsolete components at the back of her stall. Ah, yes, here we are. The dwarf wrestles a mid-sized flat-screen display out of the bin. This display has old enough hookups to connect to a DVD player. RCA, you know. Vintage. The player itself, though, this I do not have. You may wish to try your luck down at the junkyard. There is a scavenger there, a primitive man with a crude disposition. If anyone here in the Cruise Bazaar can help you find your DVD player, he can. But he will almost certainly attempt to overcharge you for it. That's alright, I have charisma. It's fine. But you are not here for gossip. Shall we conclude our business? I could give you the display for, say, 200 new yen. Charge it to Amsol, because I'm not paying for that shit. Ah, very well. I'll have it packaged up and delivered to Herr Amsel straight away. Best of luck finding your DVD player. I wish you well. Yeah, that's going to be a task. I don't remember where the... I don't remember where the junkyard guy is. Oh, waypoints. Just pay attention to the waypoints, Warfey. That's all you need to do. A stout old man looks up from whatever old tech he's tinkering with to squint at you through thick, old-fashioned glasses. He pushes them up with an oil-stained finger as he straightens up to nod at you. He speaks with a gruff but well-meaning tone, heavily accented with his German tonality. Guten Tag. What can I do for you? Malit tells me you're a man to speak about DVDs. That little shrew sent you my way, huh? Schrody's smile broadens. Well, wonders will never cease. Well, introductions are in order, I suppose. Shrody Buckman. At your service. The old man raises a grimy hand in salute. Need something salvaged? Some old components? I'm indeed your man. Wonderful. How about that DVD player? Well, let's see. I think I've got something that'll work for you. Shrody rummages through the junk heaped on the table behind him. A few seconds later, he snatches a battered plastic lozenge shape from the pile. Ah, here we go. An old Korean player that I dug up last week. 2010 model. A real beauty. Shrody's smile broadens and he gives you a conspiratorial wink. I fixed her up and got her running, but without any discs to read, I've mostly been using her as a paperweight. Sounds like what I'm looking for. How much do you want for it? Shrody glances back at the DVD player, a rueful expression on his face. Well, I'll admit I'm a little loath to part with her. You know, I hate to sell away my paperweight. There are plenty of folks out here who'd really appreciate an older player such as this, and I don't know what your intentions are for it. I suppose, given the time and trouble I took putting her back together, that I'd be willing to part with her for, oh, say... Shorty's eyes dart over your gear, a calculated expression on his face. Not surprising. 500 new yen. Are you... Could I offer you something in trade? I'm not paying 500 bucks. That's absurd. The old man pauses for a moment, considering. I'll tell you what. A few months ago I had a, well, call it a difference of opinion with that Biragazi fellow from the soy calf shop. He hasn't let me in the establishment since, and I had to sell my mother for a decent cup of coffee. You get me a cup of Turkish coffee, the real stuff, not the fake junk, and I'll give you the DVD player. Sound like a deal? Yep, because I'm not paying 500 for that bullshit. Unless the coffee turns out to be that much. In which case, I guess I kind of have to pay that much for it. How much money do I have? 2 grand. Yeah, no. We're not paying 500 for something. That's like a quarter of my wealth. Alright, Biragazi. Show me your coffee. The Turk leans into you, keeps his voice low. I have information regarding that matter my people were looking into, Effendim. The one involving the surveillance device on my data tab. Altag, I have been waiting for my coffee for nearly an hour already. Are you growing the beans out back? The coffee vendor shouts. Can't you see that I am speaking to an honoured guest, you tower of quivering corpulence? That's a good one. You pay $1 for it. Yeah, I wouldn't pay much more than that either, Sushi. Like, jeez. Especially coffee. DVD player, eh. His voice lowers again. Now then, as I was saying, we were fortunate that you happened upon that surveillance tab when you did. The people on the other end were planning a very bad thing, to be sure. Quite bad, yes. Monica Schaefer was an important member of this community, more than most are aware of. This Kais was under her protection. You know how it is in the Flux, Effendim. The governance of a place like this is tenuous at best. You never know who is going to be in charge from one day to the next. But Monica was a stabilizing force. And not just because she was dangerous. She was smart, and funny, and wise, and she had a way with people. They wanted to support her, to follow her, because they loved her. When she was killed, it left an opening for others. It would have meant bloodshed and pain if this council had been allowed to continue their plan. But they did not. We saw to it, you and I. Indeed we did, Altag. I don't want to know what happened to them. It could be as benign as just making sure nothing happened. Up to the most malevolent. The Cruise Bazaar will maintain its stability a while longer, thanks to us, my friend. Now, what can I do for you, Effendim? Would you like some coffee, perhaps? Coffee, as in real coffee, not soy calf. Yes, for individuals of refined taste, I offer genuine bean coffee from my native Turkey. The cafe owner looks you in the eye. The tone of his voice grows low and serious. This is a top-shelf item, my friend, and not for the general public. Only for those few discerning connoisseurs who can properly appreciate it. I think I can appreciate it. He's talking this up like this is going to cost a lot of money. I don't like where this is going. It is hand-picked by my family in Turkey, a true delicacy of the Sixth World. This was considered a luxury even before the Awakening, when bean coffee was everywhere. Every street corner, they say. Biragazi leans in close, lowering his voice to a conspiratorial whisper. Long hours in the shop have perfumed his body with the commingled senses of coffee, incense, and applewood tobacco. Trust me, if your coffee experience has been limited to soy calf, you must not deny yourself this opportunity. You will see God. How much? 50's fine. It's a tenth of what I was going to play for that DVD player, so screw it. Very good. Biragazi hands you a ceramic travel cup with which he then fills to the brim with dark, steaming liquid. The scent is intoxicating. Is there anything else more that I can get you? Just going now. I got my coffee. Now I need to go get my DVD player. That is a series of words I never really thought I'd say in together. But at least we're making progress. Hopefully this DVD player isn't garbage, because this guy did just kind of fiddle around with it. Hopefully we can actually get a reading out of it. Back for the DVD player. Here is the coffee. Ah, thank you. Shreddy. I really hope no one can hear the vacuum cleaner, because otherwise this recording session is going to go to shit like the last one. To be fair, the last one was because I was trying to make my computer not overheat. This one is just people in the house making noise. Shreddy gratefully accepts the coffee, then snaps the lid back and inhales deeply, wiggling his mustache as he processes the scent. Yep, that's the real stuff, alright. Shreddy gingerly picks up the ancient device from the table and presses it into your hands. The plastic is scuffed and worn, and it rattles a bit when you move it. Give us some good use, okay? Well, if it works, otherwise I'm coming back to beat your ass. Or at least take back my coffee. I mean, I did pay for that. You're not going to short sell me on DVD player just because I gave you coffee instead of 500 new yen. Alright. DVD watching time. Maybe we'll actually learn something. It seems that Amsel has assembled the team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display that you had Malit deliver. On their faces you can see excitement and apprehension, curiosity and dread. Alexei, you have procured a DVD reader? Yes, I have. Good. It should only take a minute. Amsel disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with its battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look on his face. Everything appears to be functional. The disc should be ready to play. Well, don't keep us in suspense. Start the damn thing already. Oh shit, did I... Hang on a second. Oh no, I did do that. Okay. Sorry, I thought I forgot to do something before I started this stream. I made sure I did checks before I did, because I usually forget to do something, and then I just forgot that I did the thing that I was trying not to forget. Forgetfulness is a vicious cycle. Alexei went to the trouble of fetching everything. Let him do the honors. Amsel steps back, clearing a path for you to access the antique machine. A soft whirring sound fills the air as the ancient DVD player spins disc up to speed. The scratch LCD display comes to life, and a menu fills the screen. Alright, play track 1. I feel like we're going to be in for a lot of talking here, so strap yourselves in. This is going to be very long. The screen goes black, and a cheerful digital chiming sound spills out over the display speakers. A crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments, the display goes live, and a disheveled-looking man appears on the screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. The timestamp on the screen is 2034-09-15. Adrian Vauclair. Hermie, I think we found her, after all this time. Firewing, which is what I'm pronouncing that, because I can't pronounce the German that well. I mean, it's probably Fürschwinge, but I don't think that's how it's pronounced, so I'm not going to make an ass of myself. Okay, I think you can start to hear that, vacuum cleaner a bit. I knew that she wasn't dead. His speech is jittery. You can hear the urgency in his voice. She survived the Dragonfall, just as I've always said. I knew it. I was right. The screen explodes into static, and the electronic whine in the background sharpens into a needle-like pulse of high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. The screen clears, and the excited face is closer to the screen than it was before. The words spill out of him in a breathless tide. Taking a team into the SOX to retrieve her. The radiation be damned. We will take appropriate precautions, of course, but we must go. Hermie, I think that the body may be nearby as well. Somehow, she has survived for all this time. The screen explodes into static again, then clears. The figure flickers across the screen. May not be back for some time. Look after Mum, okay? I worry about her. And Hermie, stay out. That vacuum cleaner is really distracting. I'm sorry. I'm really worried that it's messing up the sound for this recording. Stay safe out there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin, and I know you. Student protests, civil uprisings, you'll be in the middle of it, I'm sure. Just stay safe, alright? And I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the SOX. I do know one thing. If the Firewing is still a danger, I will put an end to her, once and for all. The display goes black and the background line fades. A moment later, you find yourself deposited back at the menu screen. No, the vacuum cleaner is just background in my place. It's not the game. Can you actually hear that? Because that would frustrate me to no end. But would also be good to know, because I can at least say, hey guys, there's a little bit of background noise when this stuff goes up on YouTube. In fact, I'm probably going to make a note of it really quick here. Just to make sure I don't forget. Cool. Yes, but not loud. Okay. Like, if it's disappearing into the background while I'm talking, that's okay. It'll do. Let's look at track 2. The screen goes black for a moment, then a figure appears on the screen. Your late client, Green Winters. His elbow is planted on the table that he's seated at, and his chin rests on his palm. The other hand is wrapped around a bottle of cheap whiskey. The timestamp on the video reads 2053-12-25. Christmas Day. Found the message Adrian left me, all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best I could. Strange hearing his voice again. He pauses to take a long pull on the bottle. It's good to hear him, even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. Dr. Adrian Vauclair, the hero of the people, the Dragon Slayer, my brother. Yeah, so clearly his name is not Green Winters. Like I said, that's the worst alias of all time. And like Silk said, that sounds like chewing gum. Oh good, and just to add to the noise, the dog starts barking. Love you too, Borf. He grimaces and rubs his eyes. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years. Alright, so I'm going to start recording these DVDs again. For me. For Adrian. For whoever might wind up watching them. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time. But I keep doing it anyway, on the off chance that I'll find something important. If I stumble into the clue that leads me to my brother, I know that I'm going to want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, after all. No sense in quitting now. Christ. 20 years. All this time. And still, no leads. Even with all my contacts and my resources. He takes another long swallow of cheap liquor. Even with my legendary bullheadedness, I've made no progress at all. I haven't turned up a single goddamn thing. Want to hear something funny? The closest I've ever gotten to a clue was a rumor. Apparently a team emerged from the SOX a while back. Nobody's clear on the date, but, and get this, supposedly they vanished without a trace. Oh, he leans into the camera and gives a conspiratorial wink. He upends the bottle, drains it, slams it back down to the table. His eyes are rimmed with red. Not much of a rumor considering I already know that you're gone, big brother. I live with that every day. Abruptly, Winters leans forward and reaches for something off screen. The display goes black. A few seconds later, the main menu returns. Alright, track 3. There is a grinding sound from the DVD tray, and Green Winters' image appears on the screen. There is an eager look on his face. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-10-12. Wait, was the last one... before or after this? I can't remember now. Stumbled upon this archival footage of Firewing's original attack, months before the Dragonfall. Easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people by bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play. Starting it now. Additional comments to follow. The slow whir of the DVD player shifts to a high-pitched whine. A distorted, wavering image blooms into being on the screen. A timestamp in the upper right corner of the screen marks the date, July 6th, 2012. It's difficult to make out what you're seeing at first. The scene is dark and smoky, and the telltale flashes of emergency vehicle lights flicker on the periphery of the screen. The camera pushes in, and you can make out two figures standing in a ruined landscape. All at once, the sound cuts in. Again, for those of you just joining us, we are coming to you live from Stolberg. A few hours ago, the Dragon Firewing launched an unprovoked attack on this sleepy Haas Mountain town. Haas Mountain. Wasn't that the picture covering up the vault? And you can see the result behind me. Fire, ashes, and blood. We are joined tonight by a survivor of this latest and most horrifying attack. The reporter turns to face a pale man standing behind him. Sir, I understand that you've been through a terrible ordeal. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us tonight. The camera switches focus to a middle-aged man with a haunted look in his eyes. He stammers out a reply. Yes, of course. If you could, sir, could you please tell the people at home about your experience of the attack? It was horrible. Just pure chaos. So many people are dead. People I knew. Roasted alive, or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family... we have nothing left. Oh, we have nothing now. You all made it through the attack, though. Your wife, your kids. Yeah, we all made it. Thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter. Me, my wife, and our two daughters. The shelter, it protected us, but the heat was just unbearable. We couldn't have stayed in there much longer. We couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long were you holed up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. And what happened after that? When it was over, you know, when the air cooled down, the reporter nods and the man continues. We stepped outside. There was nothing left. Just smouldering wreckage and the dense cloud of black, oily smoke. And the stench in the air. God, that smell. It smelled like roasting meat. There is a long pause. From the tortured look on his face, you can tell that the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually, he does. My girls. They found what was left of their nanny outside. Her body, what was left of it, was slumped against the shelter door. I kept telling myself that I couldn't hear her pounding to get in. But that isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open that door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her. Not for anyone. You know what? I'm gonna pause right here because, that's too loud. So for those on YouTube, I'm sorry about the noise. We'll get back to it in the next part when there's much less noise.